Welcome to this more maybe in-depth test of the Warp 1260 card. So this is Warp card, some explanation. We have here the audio part, the 16-bit audio. We have, I think, the FPGA that handles RTG. We have some CPLDs for best mastering. We have a DDR3 memory, 256 megabytes, that currently shared between RTG and CPU. We have Wi-Fi. We have a USB, currently only for USB mouse, but will be keyboard, maybe other stuff as well. We have a mini HDMI port. I don't know what that connector is for. Maybe some programming. We have a battery connector and an SD card that currently is for firmware flash, etc. And also keep the MP3 if you want to play them, a special one for the moment. And an IDE controller. We have an audio port here, and here we have port for the scanner and a gigantic heatsink. To install, I actually took the cable for the fan here and IDE here, so it's tight away. This is a Wi-Fi antenna to be handled later. And now the installation is somewhat tricky, and this is due to the fact that all new connectors are actually somewhat too thick. Those whites are a little bit better than the black ones. The black ones are maybe 0.5mm thicker even, so it is a problem to install in an Amiga, and it's not the fault of the Warp guys. It's just those connectors are hard to get, and this is what we can get, and they are slightly too large. And maybe especially this case, I don't know, but it's hard. You have to tweak a little bit. You can lift the motherboard somewhat, and do not take too much force. You will feel when it glides in, and the problem is usually here, where you can feel that it actually stucks in the case here. So if you twist the card somewhat, and you can see that it glides in, and then it works. But it's tricky, and you will need it with the case open like this anyway, because but that is an issue. Okay, now it's in there. We can plug in the fan and the IDE, extra IDE signal, like that. And on the new cases like this, you will also notice that here there's a standoff in the case that is not on the original cases, that actually touches this part of the fan PCB. There's no important traces here, so you can do a cut on the PCB here. I told the CS Labs guys this, so they hopefully we can fix that in production run of the card instead. You can see here also that the floppy cable sits here tight, but it works. And here we take the floppy power and go in there, and it does fit. And I will later, but not on this video, do a cable here to the audio inputs. That's actually built into the Amiga, but you can do it on a standard Amiga as well, with removing 2 0-ohm resistors and making jumper thing. I think the CL Labs guys have made a video about that, but the Amiga have actually jumper pins on the board for this. Yep. And you connect the this is tight, especially when I want to do it on camera. Plug in the HDMI, and the USB. This is not hard to do, but it is hard to do it when I try to do it on camera. And see here we have the SD card that you can change the CF, the firmware with, etc. It's somewhat accessible, but somewhat tight, yes. Okay, put in the Wi-Fi antenna. I will not glue it in here because I'm not sure if I will use this case or not yet. So as the Wi-Fi isn't really used yet, no point of doing that right now. And then we have the keyboard. Fits like this, and you can see that it does fit. And take the case, top case here, take the cable for the LEDs, connect it to the extra connector here on the fan board. Put it here, and you can see that it will sit nicely there. No, I have no button for the disk drive at all, but it will fit nicely here. Somewhat tight, but yes, it does fit. I will not screw it right, but yeah, it will fit. So now we have an Amiga 1200, a new case, old keyboard, still waiting for my keyboard because I want the Swedish one for some reason. And yeah, we have an Amiga 1200 here with a warp card installed. So I guess its next thing is to actually run some software and tests on this one, and that will be my next thing to do here.
Well, here we are with booted Workbench in full HD. Hope it will be good on the YouTube stream as well. It's a fantastic thing to have Workbench in full HD. Just you have the tons of space, you can have your tools. Yeah, it's so fantastic. I remember when I got my first graphics card on the Amiga and had the extra resolution was fantastic. Even if I was used to the Amiga 2024 monitor with 1034 resolution with 4 grades or something, more greenish gray when moving. But when I got color and a real graphics card, it was really nice to have 1280 by 1024 or something. But here you just have the space, you can do Cygnus Ed, you can have, yes, it's just fantastic to have this modern feel when you are doing stuff. And yeah, lots of text, etc. Yeah, it's just perfect to have like this, and it's quite fast. I like it. Yeah. It's something I can get used to this one for sure. I really love it. And well, I'm not much of a reviewer or something like that, so some of you might think, this sucks, do it better. Well, I will try to do what I can to show off the machine and what it can do. So for this one, I have done some pre-recorded capturing stuff, and I will do some tests now. I asked some people what I should test and what I shouldn't do. Some people said some games. Problem is, as I am no gamer, I actually don't have any more much of a game setup. Some also told me to use Shapeshifter, and it could be interesting, but I don't have any Mac OS installation disks, so I will just show it how it is. And people also asked me to compare it to a vampire, and most persons maybe know that I'm not a fan of the vampire, but I will not go into that here. I don't have one because of the reason I'm not a fan of the vampire, and no, it's not about the FPGA. I have no issues whatsoever with FPGA solutions. I have my FPGA arcade, etc. It works fine. It's simply the path they are taking that I'm not agreeing with, and enough with that. I will simply just not compare it, because it's comparing wrong things. If you're a vampire guy, do buy a vampire. That's your thing, and you would like it, I guess. I'm not a vampire guy, so this is a card for me, simple put. So, enough of ranting. Okay, this is booted into Workers 314. I have done my own installation here, and there's actually a crack here that I had some issues with, and I will show it, and that is the CS Warp tools. When using MUE 5, this is all you get. You get a gray screen. It simply doesn't work with the MUE, the newer versions. So that's something I hope they will fix later, but it doesn't work. I'll get this one. So, but I will show you later how to do this. But you can do it via software and so on. So I will show it later. This is running at 95 megahertz now, because that's the stable speed for my card, and it's very dependent of the CPU. I can also crush the rumor that Freescale CPUs can run faster, because this is a Freescale CPU from 2008, and it simply just isn't stable above 95 megahertz, but it works fine at 95, so I'm using it. Actually, to be honest, I will use it more at 50 because I want to have the temperature down, etc. But more about temperature later. Okay, the typical ones first at 95 megahertz. So first, sysinfo, even if it's actually a horrible tool, but everyone uses it. So I will use it as well here, and I need now to switch on to my other monitor, because as this doesn't have any scan number in it, you need to have a 2-monitor solution. So I have a 2 capture card solution here instead. You can see that I swapped in the S-video signal from my Amiga here, and we do the typical speed test, even if actually sysinfo is quite crap, but everyone uses it. So 134 times in 600, and 74 MIPS, and 53 megaflops. We can do a drive test as well, and we have that one here. We do a speed test of that one. 4.9 megabyte per second. Quite okay, yeah. It's not like my Cyberstone PPC that I had 30 megabyte per second on the wide SCSI, etc. But anyway, really good. Now I need to switch again here, and like that. So we have done sysinfo, we're done with it, don't care about it anymore. Okay. So now we do the AIBB instead. And let's see here if I switch some here, and like this, and actually I think you can do like that, and we let them use. We are crazy. We're doing the tests here at full HD. Okay. We take this, that, and let's see. I'm not that used to doing AIBB either. Is there a way to do a module, or do I need to do it all in? Okay. Yeah, make module. We do it, and I will switch to RTG if needed, or the HDMI. Oh, you can see in the background that it does the RTG tests on the HDMI capture in background. I think this will be enough. Some interesting bugs there. See what happens. I will save this module as well later for you to compare, etc. I will find a way to distribute that file. And I will do it here real time without any speed ups or anything, so you can see it's real stuff. Doing 040 it says. Okay. This is a patch version of IABB, so maybe it's just doing 060 patch tests. I can't remember. I know it's like watching paint dry. Plus, should be soon finished, I hope. All test done. We want to create. Yes, I want to create. And warp 060 95 megahertz. Okay, those apparently. So okay, didn't see here, but yeah. You can see that it's pretty good speed on that one. I think the beach ball, yeah, pretty good. Well, we exit AIBB for the moment and do go to the tool I think is worth somewhat more, and that's C-Speed. I think it's more accurate and so on. Shipment speed is always slow. Okay, let's do this bigger and analyze what we can do here. Now I notice there's some flicker here, and I will check that later. I think I know what it is. Anyway, cat read is quite fast. You can see the numbers here, and I agree, they are somewhat close to the Blizzard speeds. So RAM speeds I hope will be improved later actually. But about the flickering, I noticed that on my monitor as well, and if I'm using it at 8 bits it's somewhat buggy, but if I'm using it in 16 bit it's got stable, so do it like that. Anyway, we have done the memory speeds here. We do the this is an interesting bug in C-Speed. Of some reason, if I boot to some drives, it says that one. Okay, intuition tests instead. And I got the feeling of the RTD being quite fast here. Actually, I have no issues with being slow, like when you have a Picasso 2 or something that is quite slow. You can see text are filling the screen easily and fast. Actually, I think this is a capture card that really can't cope with it. High color, okay, yeah. Again, some paint drying watching to do. Really boring video, this one. And we can see some numbers here. So we do a graphics test. If you're watching this and don't know what the Amiga is, it's a computer from the early 90s with a more modern extra card in it. Make it faster with the CPU from early 90s as well. I think it was last produced at 2012, 2014 something. Still used in some military equipment, the Motorola 68060. And it's for retro computing, so if you don't understand it, this is not the video for you. Just to fill up some text here. So this is simply just testing how fast it does things in different resolutions and colors. Well, actually only full HD resolution, but different color amounts of colors. And it can be quite boring to watch it, but you can fast forward to after these tests. I just want to show them in real time, so you see that it's no change data or anything like that. And here we have the numbers. I will do a real module, and in the description below I will have download links for the AIBB and the C-Speed modules that have been created. 125 MIPS and 50 MIPS here, and programs actually does detect stuff somewhat different. Anyway, we have done that, and now people have asked for some other tests as well, so we do that, and one of them are the bus speed, bus test. So we do it first ship. So you can see it. Shipment is always slow, and especially when you need to do 040, 062, 030 bus conversion, as the 060 cannot actually talk 16 and 8-bit to the bus. So it usually gets slower there because of the magic needed to do. And the fact that chip memory is restricted by speed as well by Alice, etc. Okay, and we can do on Fastman. And also on ROM that actually is in Fastman. Okay, we have the numbers here. We can pause, etc. to check that one. And we can also do RSCP test. That actually we use. I don't have any screen promotion software installed right now. And that we need to fix that in the interlacing to somewhat more or can I get it somewhat better? Apparently not. Fine. Yeah, okay, there it is. Better. And we can do a test here as well, so you can see the numbers here from the hard drive. Okay, about 4 megabytes, 4.6 megabytes per second here as well. And off with the S video. That. Okay. So people want some Doom test, etc. I will do like this. I will do a quick show of Doom when I try to control it for some seconds, because that's all that I can do. And my capture card here in HDMI will show a quite small picture. I need to manually adjust it, so I will not do it now. And so this is during using RTG with an FPS counter. And Doom is pointless to do in any other resolution than low res, because it just doesn't handle it. It will just be a small screen in a bigger resolution. So yeah, here is, so you can see the speed of it. This is using RTG. Okay, so I will exit here now and switch over to AGA instead. So you can see that one. Using PAL low res. Like that, and we'll also remove the deinterlacing, so we don't have anything like that, and it will look like crap as usual when you fiddle with the so okay. So this is AGA, so no RTG at all. So chunky to planar conversion, etc., etc. see a significant lower frame rate. But still quite okay, I think. Yeah. So as I am really no gamer at all, I will now first of all to this one, I will now cut another video that showing my son playing the game instead, and then we come back to forward test.
Okay, let's take my son Anton here, play some Doom, and see if it's okay to play a game on this rig. So maybe you want me to sell his PC and get this Amiga for him instead. Didn't look like that on his face. Steady, 36 something FPS. Yay! Well, I let him play some while I stop the video.
Okay, we are back from that one, and as you could see, it's quite decent. Plays fine for those who want to play games. And that's it from the games for me. I will actually, at the end of this video, show a Quake time demo as well, upon request, that I've already captured. But now let's go into some more features that one feature that I did show during my first live stream, but now we'll do it here as well, so we have it if someone missed it. And that's the possibility to play an MP3 file from the SD card using the ARM CPU. And this is quite annoying, but you need to know the file name, etc. So I named them quite simple here, and it will play this as, with the ARM CPU doing all the MPEG decoding and playing on the 16-bit audio that will be later also available from the Amiga, but for the moment not. See if I did.
Let's see how Carl handles this.
Stick 'em, stick 'em, stick 'em, stick 'em, stick 'em, stick 'em. I'm gonna rock the beat box in the best fucking rhythm. Shit, get to that.
Keep your face down, keep your ass up, keep the titties jumping, keep the hitty coming, keep your face down, keep your ass up. Every bitch in here need to be touching something. Take your clothes off, make me wanna grab it, time to get it cracking. Turn around with it, make me wanna stab it. How the fuck if they not want a piece of die?
Carl, big
motherfucking ass.
Okay, that was MP3. I don't know if I need to do stop. I guess not. Okay, that's audio. You can see, you can hear, and you right now have the included RCA cable that you got with the card, but you can use an instruction to have it internally into the Amiga, so you can have the 60-bit audio and the Amiga audio at the same time. So yeah, I just want to show something here, and apparently that did go to screen like that. And just to show you that Music Line is more modern software, we can do. I never run this at full HD, so let's do it. And it doesn't show the board. Anyway, just to show that it actually can play. Sorry for those guys who have used headphones for destroying your ears. Anyway, you can hear the 60-bit audio, and Amiga audio can be played at once. There's no issues behind that one. So, what can I more say about this? Yeah, actually, I will now do another thing. I will cut into another video I did about half an hour ago, where I did check the temperature of this card with my heat camera. So we'll see how that behaves. We're running at the 95 megahertz for quite some hours now, and so let's do that now.
Okay, now this Amiga have been running for a couple of hours. Let's do this test. And first I will swap to my monitor here, and you can see here it says 35.7 degrees on CPU and core 69.5. Actually, we are not sure that that number is correct, but anyway, let's remove this one with one hand like that, and I can say that the heatsink is really cool, and 34 degrees, and that I'm impressed, because this one have been running for 3 or 4 hours at 95 megahertz, and still it's like when, just feels like when it was from the box. Really impressed, really impressed. The cooling works really, really great, I must say, and that in a closed box like this. Really impressive. Well, on to the next part of this test.
And as you could see, it was quite decent temperature, etc. So now I will turn over to use Kickstart 3.1 instead, and boot my 3.9 setup. So we use, as I can't use a warp jug tool in UE5, I do it like this, and it changes Kickstart to 3.1, and it boots, and my system should detect it and boot my 3.9 setup instead, and that one you can see because it doesn't say Aperion up here, and the ADOC is somewhat different. I'm using ADOC on both operating systems, and this is not a feature of Warp that handles the Kickstart booting on different partitions. I have a script that handles it for me. So I can now show you that when I'm using on this older setup, I can use WarpGag and it shows better. So you can see 95 MHz. I have the fan on silent, and it is silent, really silent. I can hear it if I put my ear to the computer. I can maybe shake my microphone here. That microphone was directly to the case. And 36.3 degrees CPU, and the core is 70 degrees here. Well, I don't know if that's true. And yeah, it works fine. I can change Kickstart here to diagram, etc. It's in Robin's.4, 4, I think. But then it will always boot in that Kickstart unless I remove the battery or do a reset for 10 seconds. Then it defaults back to the first Kickstart slot. If I have the reset for 30 seconds, it will clear all default settings to 50 MHz or etc. So if I do set it to higher megahertz here and my computer crashes all the time, I can reset the settings by holding the reset for 30 seconds. Anyway, I think I have now covered the most of the performance tests and everything about that one, and just want to go to my conclusion of this card. And as many have complained, the price, 499 euros plus the CPU, is expensive, and I will disagree. It's not expensive, it's costly. It costs much, yes, no doubt about it. It costs really much money, but if you think of what you get, you will get a Wi-Fi card later that actually is offloaded by the ARM CPU. So the ARM CPU will do the encoding, etc. So the CPU doesn't have to do the decrypting anything. It will be act like a SANA wired network card, if I understand it correctly. That means you will get the maximum speed is possible without the CPU having to do quite heavy encryption stuff. You get 60-bit audio. Later there will be a AHI drive for it, I hope. That will be really cool, because then you can use modern 16-bit audio as well, and let's hope there are more programs using AHI that, for example, trackers, etc. So you can do really cool music. We have RTG that is full HD. It's quite fast full HD. It's wonderful to use Workbench in this modern resolution at all. I cannot actually use a browser here for the moment because I have no network set up here, but browsing on Amiga is painless anyway. Painful. I maybe do another video sometime with a comparison with the different cards. I will plan to do it now, but simply put, I got not really the time to do it, and people wanted more numbers from the Warp card, so I did it here. We got a fantastic 060 card with lots of memory. The memory speed is somewhat similar to the 060 cards we have. Remember that this is full speed on the memory even if it clocks, because think of Apollo, etc. They use the half memory speed when using clocks over like 66 MHz. Here we have the full speed, and maybe this can be improved by later firmwares, or it is a DDR issue, because DDR3 memory can apparently sometimes be slow in special situations. So, but anyway, I'm extremely happy with this card, and it will really be used by me, and I love it, and I actually don't know what I will do with my Amiga 4000. For you who thinks that this is too much money, you first have to source a CPU, send it to them, they solder the CPU into the card and send it back to you, and pay 499 euros plus shippings, etc. There will be the TF1260 that will be a much lower price, about 200 to 250 euros plus CPU. That will be in a socket, so you don't have to ship the 060 back and forth. You can't really have a socket here because of space restraints of the heatsink, etc. And there are those guys who like the Vampire. Go ahead, use it if you want to. If you're thinking of a Vampire, the 060 is not for you. The 060 for us who wants an 060, a real Motorola CPU, etc. And yeah, enough of that. If you like Vampire, use that one. I will not. Anyway, this has been okay, more in-depth test, but you could do more. Hope someone else that are more used to do reviews about things do it as well. I love it. I love the card really much. I haven't had really real issues. There have been reported issues that if you swap the IDE to the internal IDE, they can have some issues, etc. But this is a test card. It will be updated. You can update it via SD card inside the machine. So issues will be solved, I guess. But so far, I've been using this machine now turned on for let me see, like 6 hours, and it's just been working just great. I run some demos. I did some Quake capture tests, etc. So it's been working just fine. So this is it, and I will end it here. But after this, I will show you some captures I've done. First, there will be the Elude demo. We come in peace in RTG. Then we will have some time demo tests of Quake. First, using RTG in different resolutions, three different, 320 times 200, I think, and then 640 times 480, and then 800 times 600 resolution. So you can see the FPS there, and then we'll do a time demo again with AGA, so you can see in PAL AGA, you can see the FPS here. And I will end this one with the same demo again. We come in peace, but this time not using RTG but using AGA, so you can see the difference there. And then it will just simply end, and this was the test. I will warn you, this is a capture done before, so audio might be somewhat high, so if you're using a headphone, be prepared to have your brains blown out or something like that. And yeah, first review I've ever done, actually. So yeah, hope you liked it, and if not, do please tell me in the comments. I know they will come, and that's what this are for. Thank you, and to the work guys, thank you. This is awesome. Bye.